On commence.
يس. إذا مرحبا بكم في الحصة الثانية باللغة الإنجليزية وبالتوفيق إن شاء الله. شكرا للأستاذ على المجهود وعلى المبادرة الطيبة. ألف شكر سي كريم، الأختي رجاء، مدام سارة اللي تنسق معناها تعبة، وللمتفقدة ضيفة الشرف السيدة جندوبي. إذا ننطلق على بركة الله في الحصة الثانية وإن شاء الله بالنجاح والتوفيق. تفضل مدام رجاء، يعطيك الصحة.
يعيشك مدام هيام. جوست التلميذات للتذكير راهو فما جوجل فورمز اليوم ان شاء الله باش نخلي لكم ويكلت فيها برشا خدمه كيلكو سوا باوربوينت والا بي دي اف وبيان دي لوسون، وباش نخليكم زاده بادلات مزيانه برشا تنفهمكم في اخر الحصه كيفاش تخدموا عليها وتخلوا لي غاديك الخدمه نتاعكم باش نصلحها. دونك so good
دونك
evening everyone. هاي
مدام رجاء، اللي
تفضل.
عنده سؤال فما تشات وفما رفع اليد.
اي رفع اليد في ليزيكون تجيك التصويره نتاع اليد الصغيره ذيك تكليك، تشوف مدام هيام والا مدام ساره معناتها ينسقوا معنا، ويعطيكم الكلمه. اللي يحب يسال ما يحشمش، اللي يستفسر على حاجه سيرتو اليوم باش نخدم شويه على لي سوجي، معناتها راهي اكثر حاجه سورس دو نوت وصعيبه شويه على التلميذ، معناتها لازمها شويه معناتها لي زاستيس. دونك اللي ما فهمش بازا با يرفع صبعه ويسال ونعاودوا له اتو مومون، ما ثم حتى مشكله، وبيان ينجم يكتب دي ميساج في الشات بوكس. واضح؟
شكرا مدام رجاء، يعطيك الصحة.
Okay, so good evening everyone. Sorry for being late a little bit. We have a blackout this afternoon or this evening. The electricity was out for 2 hours. So I'm sorry, even the work I try to shrink as much as I can. I try to just to prepare the most to the ultimate, if you want, necessary points. So, as I said earlier, today I would like to focus on the writing. So usually the writing in your exam, either for the arts session or the scientific branches, it is marked 15 points or 15 marks for the arts and 12 marks for the remaining sections, okay? So usually the writing is a little bit difficult. Why? Because it requires a lot of skills in choosing the verbs, putting the verb in the right tense, choosing the appropriate prepositions, and many, many more. So today, I would like to help you in that to make it easier as much as I can. I will start with the first task in your exam, which is the guided writing. Okay, usually the guided writing, okay, it is a writing in which we give hints to pupils, okay, and it is scored 5 out of 5 marks. First of all, let's start with different types of guided writing. You can have different types. I will start with the first type, which is writing a biography. So, since it's a revision, I am talking about all the modules. So you can have a biography of someone famous in education. You can have a biography about an activist, okay, environmental activist. You can have a biography about someone who is famous, about a space tourist, about a businessman. So it is not typical for the module number 4, but it could be related to all the units in the book. I mean, art shows and holidaying, education, science, and life issues as well. Okay, so what is specific about biography? First of all, it is very short. Okay, we give between 4 and 5 lines of information. Okay, and the pupil should try to work out these pieces of information. Take a look at this table. I've chosen a new character. Maybe it's new for you. Okay, it's an activist girl who is very if you want, outstanding, skilled, gifted. Okay, her name is Greta Thunberg, and I have the pieces of information in my table. Of course, usually for the biography, we provide the pupil with the date of birth. Okay, so for example, here we have January the 3rd, 2003. The cause, it means she was an advocate for which cause? For environment, for peace, for civil rights. Okay, so we should here categorize or specify the cause for pupils. The third information, it's about the actions. What did she do? She was famous for what? Okay, what were, if you want, her contributions? Here, for example, she was known for a movement known as Fridays. Let me explain a little bit. It's very funny. So this activist militant girl, every Friday she skipped school and she went on a strike, okay? She went on demonstration to show the importance of the climate change. In the first few weeks, no one followed her. After many days, many people participated and it was a huge success, okay? I move now to the achievements. It means what did she add? What did she contribute? Okay. So, for example, here, this movement was a huge success, as I said. So many students were inspired to participate with her. Okay. And eventually she was, if you want, keen at giving speeches at World Economic Forum, even though she is still a teenager. She is 13 years old. Okay. And here you have the place in which she gave the speeches, the country, Switzerland. Okay. I move to the fourth, if you want, information, which is the awards and honors. Even if you have a biography about a scientist, Ahmed Ziwail, Albert Einstein, okay, so usually we mention that he won, he was awarded. So there are, if you want, certain vocab and certain words that pupils should learn, okay, by heart, so that he could be able to manage to, if you want, write correctly, okay, so that you don't make mistakes in your exams. So the award here, she won the Ambassador of Conscience Award. By whom? The person who gave her, this is a passive, be careful for that, okay? Amnesty International. And you have the date, it was in June 2009. So let's check the correction of the first type of writing. Madam Huyam, do you still see my shared screen?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. So here is the correction. Sorry, many documents on my desktop due to the blackout, okay, today, so I was a little confused. So here's the correction. So take a look here together. So Greta Thunberg is, of course, I am talking about someone who is still alive, right? So I should use the simple present verb to be. So is a Swedish environmental activist who, usually we should use what we call relative pronouns, okay? What is the function of relative pronouns? It helps you to relate sentences and it is more formal. It's better the structure of your sentence. I can here divide it into two sentences. Greta Thunberg is a Swedish environmental activist, full stop. She was born on, and so on. So here my work will be a little bit like primary school. It's not very proficient. So all of these show to the examiner of in the day of the exam, inshallah, when he is correcting your worksheet, that you are a good pupil, that you are trying to make it to the top, that you are burning the candles at both ends. So this could be beneficial for you when I talk about the marks. So try to use structures, okay, relative pronouns, conjunctions, many more, as much as you can, okay? Also, here there is another structure. I can use what we call non-defining relative clause. For example, I say, Greta Thunberg, comma, the Swedish environmental activist, comma, was born on January the 3rd, 2003. And I could use this structure for any person you are talking about. For example, Najib Mahfouz, comma, the Egyptian writer, comma, was born in Egypt, and you give the date. So this is a very proficient structure to show that you are good in English. Okay, so I move. The gifted girl, why not giving adjectives, okay? Or to avoid repetition, she, the girl. So sometimes try to substitute, try to alternate between different nouns, adjectives, okay, pronouns, why not, okay? So that you show that you have many synonyms. You can, okay, paraphrase, you can show that you are good, you master English language, right? Especially for the arts session. So, the gifted girl, I need a verb here, okay? She led, she organized. I can use one of them, okay? A movement known as Fridays for Future. It was so successful, it means it was very successful. What will be the result? We already came across this structure, if you remember, on Unit 2 when we talked about education. So that here, okay, it means the goal or the result. So it was very successful. What was the result? That students were inspired to participate. She also gave, okay, many speeches. At, I need, of course, the place, okay, the venue, etc. At World Economic Forums in Switzerland. Take a look here. I changed the word girl with the young teen, the prodigy, the gifted, the young businesswoman. You choose, okay, so that you show that you master, okay, English. So the young teen was awarded the Ambassador of Conscience Award by, of course, pay attention please to this structure. In English, we call this the passive sentence, okay? Here, we start with the object, which will be the adjunct of the verb, okay? There is no subject if you want. We make this inversion in the structures. Okay, so here, normally the sentence will start as follow. Amnesty International, okay, awarded or gave the Ambassador of Conscience Award to the girl. So for some, if you want, formal rules, okay, since we are talking about formal English, it is a structure of very formal English. We came across that in literary books, in magazines, in newspapers, okay, so we try to imitate, to follow that in our exams, right? So here I repeat the sentence. The young teen was awarded, she was given, okay, she was offered. You see, I have many possibilities to put my sentence. The Ambassador of Conscience Award by Amnesty International in June 2009. I will stop here for a few minutes before moving to the second type, and please ask me if you have any questions about the biography. Is there anything you would like to ask? Are there things that are not clear in my correction here? Few minutes, you write in the chat box or you raise your hand and Miss Huyem or Miss Sarah will tell me. Yes? Okay, so Miss Huyem, if there are no messages in the chat box, I will proceed. If there anything, you can tell me, okay?
Okay.
So I move now to the second type, okay? Sometimes you can have to write about an organization. Usually we focus on what we call the NGOs, the non-governmental organization. We call them also humanitarian organizations. So don't be confused if you have one of these in your exam. And usually you have acronym. Acronym is an abbreviation. Like I say, the UN, it is abbreviation for the United Nations. UNICEF, it's also an abbreviation. UNESCO, all of them. So here, similarly, I have an acronym, UNEP, which stands for the United Nations Environment Programme. So usually, what are the basic information about the organization? The first thing, okay, that you should provide is the date of establishment. It means the foundation. It was set up when. It was founded, established, when and where, the place and the date. For instance, here I have the foundation. You have the country, Stockholm, right? You have the date, June 1972. The headquarters, المقر الرسمي. So it is the place, okay. عندنا فروع احنا ولا وعندنا المقر الرسمي بالنسبة للNGOs الكل. Be careful. So the headquarter, it means where it is located. So here you have it is in Nairobi and Kenya. And of course you have different agencies, فروع, like the bank, like, okay, you have different agencies. Well, I move to the third piece of information. Usually we talk about the key mission. Since we have an organization, we have purpose, we have goal, we have objective, we have mission. So what are the missions? Here you have two, okay. Provide solutions for climate change issues, okay, and publish and promote environmental science. Usually I recommend that, especially for my pupils, to shorten the information. For example, if he gives you in the exam 4 key missions, try to choose only 2, okay? We will test you or assess you in regard to your grammar, to your correct sentences, the use of links. So there is no need to write, if you want, everything, all the information that you have. If you have 4 or 5 in one column, try to choose only 2. But be careful, of course, to write correctly, okay, to avoid grammar and spelling mistakes, because they will lower your marks. And similarly, you have the awards. Okay, so here, this NGO, this humanitarian organization, okay, sets, establishes, prepares, provides, okay, a program of awards, which will be given to people, of course. Why we give them these awards? To thank them, to say we are thankful, we are grateful, thank you for your work, to encourage them, to motivate them, to recognize, okay, from the non-recognition, اعتراف الامتنان, okay, to recognize their hard work, their excellent commitment, and so on. So here, for example, you have an example of these awards, which is named Champion of the Earth. And be careful, for example, here this is a proper noun. So usually if you have the noun of an award or festival, it is written in capital, you have the quotation and so on. So be careful for that, okay? So Champion of the Earth Award. It is given to whom? Who are the beneficiaries? Who are people who will benefit from that award? Who will receive? Who will give? Or who will be given? Sorry, okay. These are entrepreneurs, it means businessmen, businesswomen, scientists, policy leaders or policy makers, okay, activists, okay. Why? To recognize their outstanding work, and it is given every year. What that means, every year, okay. Usually when I talk about a festival, an organization, you can find this piece of information. You can use an adverb here, okay. Later you can paraphrase annually, yearly, okay. So can you change the structure later on? Right, so let's take a look at the correction of this writing. So as usual, I start with the first piece of information, okay, the date and the place of the foundation. Here you have three options. You have either the verb to set up, okay, or the verb to establish, or the verb to found. And bear in mind, to found, it is a regular verb. The past is founded. Maria Montessori founded a school, okay? However, there is another verb which usually pupils could be confused with, which is to find. It means to discover. Be careful, this is an irregular verb, okay? The past is found, and it has a totally different meaning, okay? So I repeat, the UNEP was set up in, sorry, there is a mistake, I wrote it twice, okay? So in, here I need the preposition in, June 1972. Another important remark here, if you have a complete date, it means the day, the month, the year. Absolutely, here we should use the preposition on. If I have here, for example, let's say June the 4th, Monday, June the 4th, I will use the preposition on if you have a complete date, okay? If you have only just the year or the month, it's okay, you can use in. And you have the country, okay, in Stockholm. Its headquarters, in plural, so the verb should be also in the plural, are located in Nairobi and Kenya. Of course, here, why shall I choose the simple present? Because I am talking about a general truth, something which doesn't change. Usually, this is the place in which, if you want, the company existed, the organization works, and so on. The organization's key missions are to provide solutions for climate change issues. Okay, so here I try to relate the two pieces of information because I have two key missions. There are many possibilities. For example, here with the red color, if you see, I used as well. Okay, you can also use the conjunction not only but also. For example, I say the organization's key missions are not only to provide solutions, but also to publish. Okay? You can also finish your sentence with to, the comma, and to, the TOO, which means also. Okay? The organization has set an award program. So here I am talking about the awards. Okay? And I will give an example of these awards. So I can use either the linker for instance or the linker for example. Okay, so for instance, for example, you can also use as such. Okay, you can also use as such. So for instance, Champion of the Year award is, so since it is every year used, so we say annually. So it is annually attributed to entrepreneurs, scientists, policymakers, and activists. Why we give them, okay, we award them, okay, in recognition, to say we are thankful for their outstanding work. Similarly, I will wait for 5 minutes if you have any questions in the chat box or raise your hands.
Mrs. Rajay,
Yes.
Amin said if someone who is dead, which sense we will use?
Yes, great question. Yes, I mean, so since here I am not talking about someone who is dead, unfortunately. So, for example, let's say we are having a biography, I mean, about Einstein, okay? So you finish, he died. Be careful. The verb is to die in the past, okay? He died. D-I-E-D. Sometimes you come across pupils' worksheets or exams in which they write he death. Be careful. Death, D-E-A-T-H, is the noun. Okay? Dead, D-E is the adjective. So I can't also say he dead. This is an adjective. He is dead. Okay. He is dead. This is an adjective. But if I need the verb, so he died. Okay, Albert Camus, I don't know. Najib Mahfouz, William Shakespeare died in Stratford upon Avon in, and you give the date. I hope I answered your question, Amin. Okay, so.
Thank you.
Yes, with pleasure. Right, I move now to the third type of writing. Sometimes you are asked to write a definition. You are provided, okay, given with a few hints, and you are asked to write a definition of an event, okay, of something. Here, I have, since you are facing this problem, contemporary problem today, environmental issue, which is water scarcity. So let's talk a little bit about this, if you want, celebration. So it is called the World Water Day. I don't know if you have any idea about that. So it is, here also I have the celebration, okay. I will use the verbs, it is celebrated, okay. Here you have the date, March 22, every year. So automatically I will use the simple present. Be careful if you are talking about a festival, organization, definition about something in the past, okay, you should use the simple past, especially verb to be. You have two forms, was for the singular, were for the plural, okay. For the simple present also you have two forms. You have is for the singular and are for the plural. Right. Similarly, I move to the objectives. What is the aim, the purpose, the goal? الهدف من وراء الحاجة ذيك، الإيفينمون هذيك، الاحتفال هذيك. Okay. So to inspire people to learn water-related issues. Pay attention please. وإحنا نعملوا في ريفيزيون. اخزروا لي بالنسبة للي تابلو اللي تجيكم راهي عادة منظمة هكا in order، لكن مش معناتها التلميذ باش يهزها كوبي كلي، راهو تبدا تصلح ساعات في لي زيكزامان دو بكالوريا يهزها كيما هي. The objective is inspire and learn and watch، ما يزيدها حتى نو، نشوف الفيرب وين يجي، حرف الجر وين يجي، وانسي دو سويت. Okay, I try to work out my mind. Pay attention. Shall I add something to my sentence? Is there a verb? Where shall I put the preposition? And many more. I ask myself a lot of questions before answering, right? Okay, since the World Water Day is celebrated every year they have a new theme. ولات موضة معناتها خاصة في المشاكل هذه نتاع الانفيرونمون، كل عام وقت نحتفلوا به يجيبوا ان تيم. شنو هو لو تيم نتاع السنة؟ تاع سنة كذا، تاع سنة غسل اليدين، فهمت ولا؟ معناتها يطوعوه معناتها كونتمبوران، القضية الموجودة توا نولوا نسموا معناتها الاحتفال هذاك نحطوا له ان تيم، نحطوا له سوجي، كل عام فما محور. دونك هنا مثلا اخترت 2021. اوكي سو 2021 theme for example is، شفت كيفاش قلت is ما قلتش was، مازال 2021 ما وفاتش هكا ولا؟ faites attention. So here I should use either the simple present or the present perfect, has been, because the present perfect in English is used for an action which happened in the past and still up to the present and maybe in the future. Okay, so the present perfect is usually used for something which is still up to now. We are still living that event or celebration or whatever, or this problem. Okay, so here, what do people do in this celebration, especially for the 2021 theme? They join, okay, global conversation. How do you join a conversation? Here you have the use of the hashtag. When I say hashtag, what social media do you use? Of course, you use the Twitter. So people Twitter all over the world to show that they care about the environment. They are concerned about the problem of water scarcity. Okay, so use of the hashtag water to me. Why they use it? To tell stories, practices, feeling about water. Okay. Now, what are the impacts, the effects, the results, the consequences? You see how many vocab did I use? Try in your exam to use synonyms, to learn synonyms as much as you can, so you alternate in your writing, especially for the free writing. You absolutely need them. So the impacts here. To raise awareness, it means to make people conscious about that problem. Okay. Okay, to save water, to protect health. Okay, so take a look here at my essay. This is a possible answer. Of course, it's not typical. You have different answers from different pupils, but the most important thing is to stick to the grammar, okay? Choose carefully your verbs, prepositions. Punctuation is very important, okay? You will be penalized if you don't use the commas, the full stops, and the capital letters. So, World Water Day is celebrated yearly, it means every year, okay, in March 22nd. It aims at, take a look at this structure, usually aim is followed by the preposition at, and similarly, it is followed by an ing form. It aims at giving, providing, fulfilling, pursuing. Be careful. Usually, and this is a rule in English, if you want a general rule, if you have preposition, 90% of the cases, it is followed by ing form. Of course, there are exceptions in some cases, okay? So it aims at inspiring people to learn about water-related issues. This is a compound adjective. It means issues related to water. Okay, genetically engineered drug. It means a drug which is engineered, okay, genetically, okay. For example, I say also a coffee making machine, a machine which makes coffee. Okay, be careful. Also, this is a very intricate structure, but it's very useful in your exam. Try to use compound adjective, okay? The 2021 theme has been, you see, here I have used the present perfect. Value in water, full stop. Try to shorten your sentence, by the way. The more you shorten your sentences, the less mistakes you will have in your exam, you will make, right? So, millions have joined global conversations, okay? How? By using the hashtag #WaterToMe to tell their stories, practices, and feeling about water. This celebration provides an opportunity, okay? You can also here say paves the way, تفسح المجال لي, okay? تمكن من, okay? So the celebration provides or paves the way for, okay, an opportunity, a chance to raise awareness about what, of course, about the need to save water and protect health. Hope it's clear. If there are no questions, I shall proceed.
دونك باش نقرا لك السؤال كيما هو. كي يبدا عام فات شنو هو التنس اللي نستعملوه؟
أي بيان سور، مثلا هنا باش تجيني على 2019 باش يعطيني نفس الحدث اليوم العالمي للمياه و 2019 بيان سور باش نحط simple past was كلها باش تكون في الباست was celebrated people had. شفت هنا الفقرة نعاود نحطوها هي بيدها في الباسي supposons باش يحكي لي هنا على 2019. Donc water day world water day was celebrated. ردوا بالكم النحي واللي ما عادش كل عام واحتفل به العام هذاك فقط تتنحى هذه داكوردو. In March it aimed at, all the verbs will be changed to the past. Okay, has been كيف غاديكا باش تولي was. Okay, millions had, HAD, okay, by using the hashtag. The celebration provided in the past. Is it clear?
Thank you, Mrs. Rajab.
Okay, so I move now to another type, okay, of writing. So take a look. I want you to read in silence for a few seconds to check out, okay.
شنو نعملو تاسك يبدأ 2021 present now present.
عاود لي مدام هويه، ما سمعتش السؤال
شنو
كيفاش.
نعملو تاسك يبدأ 2021 present now، يعني present تحب تتأكد يظهر لي.
اي اخزر لي اذا كان معناتها عندك العام هذا 2021 بيان سور باش تحط يا سيمبل بريزنت، تنجم تعمل ايس انت ونوع التمرين، راهو احنا نقولوا هكا، لكن انت وخصوصيه كل تمرين وكل جمله والسياق نتاع الفقره، خاصة حتى في اللانجوج مثلا نتعرضوا لك الكونجوغيزون، معناتها باش تجيك فقرة قبلها فيرب بعدها فيرب، انت والسياق فهمتها تجي في السيمبل بريزنت باش تستعمل سيمبل بريزنت. حسيت لاكسيون مازالت متواصلة حتى في الفيتور في المستقبل تنجم تبقى موجودة، خاصة 2021 ما وفاش تولي اوتوماتيكمون بريزنت بيرفكت. معناته حطوا في بالكم البريزنت بيرفكت راهم استعملوه المكثرية لحاجة مازالت متواصلة لتوا وسابو تتواصل في المستقبل، او بيان نستعملوه على حاجه وفات في الباسي وريزولتا مازالت موجوده توا. مثلا انسان تخرج في عام 1990 مازالت عنده شهادته ولا بيان سور مازالت عنده، دونك مثلا تولي she has graduated، نكمل جملتي ريتو he has built a house، بناه هو المنزل عنده 20 سنه لكن ça existe encore. They have bought a car، شراو هما كرهبه في الباسي عندهم 10 سنين لكن مازالت معناتها اذا كان الريزولت مازالت موجوده. تو نخلي لكم ان شاء الله وريقات اذا كان عندكم مشكله في الكونجوغيزون تنجموا تخدموهم ونصلحوهم في الويكلت اذا كان فما اشكاليه في التنسيس تو نخدموا عليها شوي.
صح. فما امين جويني رفع يده، تحب توا ولا بعد؟
اي ميساج، تفضل اي تفضل.
يلا امين، انا باش نحل لك الميكرو. هاي تفضل تفضل امين. ما نعرفش، ربما ما هو رفعها هكاك مش
بالكش ما يعرفوش يخدموا الميكرو مدام ساره ساعات، مدام هيام شوف بالكش ما نعرفش يكتب كان يحب اللي ما ينجمش يتكلم.
تفضل.
What does mean it aims at?
It aims at, it means the purpose، تهدف إلى، معناتها شنو الهدف من الحدث هذاك باش نعملوه، أوكي؟ تنجم تبدلها its goal is، هدفها its objective is، دونك عندك many structures باش توضح المعنى. المهم هنا بمعنى شنو الهدف من الحدث هذاك، من ليفينمون، من الاحتفال، أوكي؟
Okay.
اوكي
Thank you.
ثانك يو.
Welcome, okay. Shall we move on? Yes?
يس ثانك يو.
Okay, so I move to the fourth example, okay. Here, be careful. I try to mix both of them so that I don't waste too much time. So let me just explain. Usually in your exams, you can have what we call jumbled sentences. It means sentences which are not in order. It means disorder. You try to put them in order. This is the first function. And the first function, to provide the missing parts. Or you can have this exercise and the sentences will be in the order, okay? They are organized, okay? Well organized, and you will finish with the missing parts. ايش معناته؟ معناتها هنا في المناظرة الكبيرة باش نتعرضوا لزوز أنواع، أو بيان كو معناتها الجمل الكل منظمة أمورها واضحة، هو ديجا يظهر لك في السؤال تاكوردو، معناتها يقول لك مثلا insert the missing parts باش تعمل انسيغي لي بارتي اللي باش تكملها، معناتها ما تلمس حتى شيء. او بيان وقت اللي تلقى كلمة jumbled ولا disordered افهم اللي الجملة نتاعك مشكشكة، معناته اخر كلمة راهي تنجم تكون الاولى تنجم تكون في الوسط، فهمتوا ولا ما؟ علاش نقول لكم اقرا السؤال مرة واثنين وعشرة، افهم سو كي دوموندي لينونسي، ومن بعد تبدا تخدم، مش تبدا تخدم ديريكتومون هكاك معناتها نو، نقرا معناتها اي كلمه راهي سا شونج تو لو كونتوني، نفهم بالكدا is it organized okay sentence or is it disordered okay jumbled. اذا كانت jumbled مشكشكه نولي نخدم مخي باش نشوف شنو هو لو سوجي وين يجي، الفعل مفعول به شنو باش وين نحطهم، ومن بعدين زيد باش نحط لي فيرب، معناتها دوبل فونكسيون دوبل ديفيكولتي باش ننظمها ونشوف الاشياء اللي هي ناقصه. اوكي دونك here they are in order. I've chosen something very easy, okay, accessible. They are in order. Just we'll try to, if you want, insert, okay, complete with the missing parts. So I've chosen the topic of pollution. I read the first sentence. Our environment causing to we are an irreparable damage. Second sentence. Our citizens choking, it means they can't breathe, they are suffocating today. And our cities air pollution is. Third sentence. Entire state global warming washing due to. By the way, when I use the due to, it means because of, but normally I use the due to when the cause is negative. For example, I say, due to tsunami, she delayed her marriage. Okay, it means because of tsunami. Tsunami, is it something good or negative? Of course, it is something bad. It's a catastrophe, it's a natural disaster. I give you another example. Because of his hard work, he succeeded in the baccalaureate exam. Okay, so because of here, it means something positive. I can't say due to. So be careful. You should use due to when you have a negative cause. Okay? Is a chilling possibility. Chilling, it means terrible, horrifying, scary, frightening, miserable. Okay? And you have the flooding of. And I finish with the fourth sentence. Are leaving we nothing next generation for the. I want you to take few seconds, okay? You try to figure out how you could possibly answer these sentences, okay? Okay, so let's check together if you want the possible answers. Okay, so let's start with the first one. Of course, usually in English, we start with the subject. The subject could be a noun, Jack, John. Okay, of course, it could be a noun of an organization as well. UNICEF, okay, it could be an abstract noun, friendship, racism, right? And it could be a pronoun, are, you, she, they. So here I have the pronoun, okay, and I put automatically after the subject, we put the verb, okay. Here you have the present progressive, okay, are causing. After the verb, what shall I put? Of course, the object. So, the object is a noun. Usually in English, I can put before a noun an adjective. I repeat, usually in English, I can put before a noun an adjective. Beautiful, girl. Intelligent, boy. Difficult, exam. Expensive, trip. You see? I give you another rule. Sometimes you have the noun, before the noun you have an adjective, and you have a space. What you can add, what you can insert before the adjective. The only possible answer is to add an adverb. The extremely beautiful girl. The increasingly, for example, difficult exam. So usually, okay, we provide an adverb before the adjective and an adjective before the noun. I hope I was clear, okay? So I repeat, we are causing irreparable damage to our environment. You see? So I move to the second sentence. So similarly, I will start with the subject. What is the subject here? I am talking about air pollution. What is it doing? You see? Is choking. Choking whom? Okay, the person. Our citizens and cities. Let me mention something very, very important here about and. Usually when you have and, it is a coordinator or linker, okay, or conjunction. Usually it is called this structure, citizens, noun, cities, nouns. It is called parallelism. What does it mean, parallelism? It means to use the same tense, present, present, past, past, okay, or the same nature. If I have a verb, I should have a verb. If I have a noun, I should provide a noun. Let's give some examples. John and Linda, okay, are talking and dancing. You see, ing form, ing form. She is naughty and mischievous. Adjective, adjective. Okay. He drives recklessly and quickly. Adverb, adverb. So pay attention. You need these tips of advice, okay, or tips or rules in English grammar, especially when you are answering your grammar, your language tasks, okay. For the grammar, you should be very careful, cautious about the choice of the words, either in the question of put in the right answer form or circle, okay. Yes. Next, I move to the fourth sentence. The flooding. When I talk about the flooding, I talk about natural catastrophes, natural disasters. You have tsunami, okay? You have the volcano, البراكين. You have the flood, فيضانات. You have the drought, الجفاف, okay? I hope I didn't forget any of them. So the flooding of the entire state, because of what? You see, due to global warming washing, okay? And now I need the verb. The main verb in the sentence is. You see, this sentence is a little bit intricate, difficult, okay? Doesn't matter. Here I need the verb. So the verb here is. All of these is the subject, you see? The subject could be one word or many words, okay? But the head of the sentence is the flooding, okay? Is a chilling possibility. And I finish with the last sentence. As usual, sorry, we start with the subject. Okay. So we, after the subject, I put my verb. We are living. Nothing for the next generation. Okay. Too much noise, please. Could you mute your mics? Thank you. Yes, Madam Huyem, could you mute all the mics? Too much noise in the background.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so if there are no questions for this type of writing, I shall proceed. Okay. Yes, no questions, no ambiguities.
This Sam has a question.
Yes, Miss Sarah, yes, go on.
Sam? ابتسام. Le micro est ouvert. Amine aussi. Vous pouvez parler, prendre la parole. Oui.
بربي اني ما حضرتش من الاول، اما نحب نفهم معناها كي يعطيني بليزيور انفورماسيون، مثلا كي اني باش نكتب رايتنج ما نعرفش ناخذ لوردر بيان معناها بالجاز.
عاود السؤال ابتسام، صوتك بعيد.
يعطينا رايتنج، يعطينا ديز انفورماسيون هكا، معناها هما مثلا نعرفش ايفينمون حاجه.
باهي فهمتك ابتسام. اسمعني بنتي يخزر. اول حاجه هي حكايه براكتس، معناتها براتيك. كل ما انت تخدم اكثر التمارين هذوما اللي عندك فيهم صعوبه، كل ما انت باش تتحسن. ثاني حاجه بيان سور انت باش تشوف معناتها لي كلاس غراماتيكال. مثلا هنا باش تلوج على السوجي، نعرف انا انه لو سوجي انو نسطر على لي نون تاعي في الجمله، ونمشي نشوف لو نون هذاك اسكو يلزم يجي سوجي ولا يلزم يجي اوبجي. بيان سور المعنى تاع الجمله، جملتي على شنو تحكي على الانفايرمنت، تحكي على البولوشن، تحكي على البرين درين. يلزمني نعرف معناتها السوجي، الحاجه اللي تحكي عليها الجمله الاولى، ونحطه من بعد نمشي للفيرب وانسي دو سويت. وهي حكايه خدمه. تو نخلي لكم انا برشا هذوما الجايدد رايتنج، خاطر بالحق تحسهم شويه هكا لابيت نوار نتاع لي زيليف، ونحاولوا ان شاء الله البيريود الجاي نصلحوا منهم لو ماكسيموم. معناتها عندي جروب ماسنجر، كان تحبوا تو ندخلكم التلامذه اللي ما همش فاهمين برشا، فما برشا ديجا بعثوا لي اسلام وبرشا بنوتات دخلتهم. نجموا نكملوا الخدمه معناتها اون لين، ما فما حتى مشكله. على خاطر كل ما تخدم اكثر، كل ما باش تشوف معناتها نيو ستراكشر، باش تشوف دي ستراكشر جدد وتفهم معناتها كيفاش تحطها جملتك. اذا ما تخدمش معناتها في الدار ما تنجمش تتحسن فيهم. كل ما تخدم كل ما باش تولي تسهل عليك كومان جو. كل ما انت معناتها باش تلعب اكثر باش تحس روحك وليت كومبيتون اكثر. نفس الخدمه ما تخافش منهم. اوكي
اوكي ماشي مدام، يعطيك الصحة.
nice. Okay, so I shall proceed then. Okay, I move to the fifth type. Sometimes you are asked to write a report. What is a report? It is, if you want, a short paragraph, okay? It's not an article, it's a short paragraph, okay, about an event, okay? So similarly, you have different pieces of information. So here I chose to talk about Earth Hour. اوكي نفرقوا بربي هنا. فما مناظره بكالوريا ما نعرفش نتاع عمناول ولا عمناول جو سي با على الارث داي. الارث داي راهي وحدها يوم الارض، والارث اور ساعه الارض وحدها، راهم مختلفين، كل واحده عندها الكاركترستكس نتاعها. داكوردو اوكي. So similarly here I have the first information about the date and the time. Okay, it is celebrated. Okay, where does it happen? Okay, so you have Saturday 25th March 2019. The organizer, whom, okay, who, sorry, who the person, who is the person or the organization which is behind that event. Here you have the word Wildlife Fund. Okay, the venue. The venue, it means the place in which the event, okay, happens or takes place. Similarly, if you remember in module 1, when we talked about art shows and holidays, when I talk about the festival, I should mention the venue. Carthage Festival, Cannes Festival, okay? So where is it celebrated? The place. We call this the venue, okay? So here it happens where? Not in one place, but in different countries. So it happens, okay, it takes place in 170 countries across the continents. Who can participate? Who can take action? Who can take part? Who can be present? Who can attend this event? Okay, millions of people. What are the actions? What we do during this event? We switch off lights. Already take a look at the picture. Why do we switch off lights? to reduce the carbon dioxide emission, to show that we are conscious, we are concerned about the problem of air pollution, the problem of global warming, all the climate change issues, okay? And I finish with the last information about the purpose, why we organize, we celebrate, okay, we take part in this event. First, you have to reduce the impact of climate change. And second, to show care about the planet, to show that we care. Okay, so here's an example, a sample how to write. So, Earth Hour was celebrated. You see here, I am talking about 2019, in the past. Also, I think there was another pupil who asked about the past, okay? So here I have a chance marker, قرينة زمنية هاوي, 2019. So automatically I should stick to the rule, I should use the simple past, right? So Earth Hour was celebrated on Saturday, 25 March 2019. So what do you remark here? I have a complete date, okay? That's why I should use the preposition on. If I have only 2019, I will use the preposition in. Be careful. It was basically organized by WWF. Try to avoid the use of acronyms like this, but because I am squeezing in time in your exam, don't use short forms, abbreviation, complete, full words, right? It took place, it happened, it was celebrated. You have many possibilities here in 170 countries across the continents. On this occasion, في هذا اليوم في هذه المناسبة ainsi de suite. Donc j'ai ajouté ça. Donc تحس روحك فما ديكالاج ما تنجمش باش تنقز من فكرة لفكرة. pourquoi pas تنجم تزيد حاجة من عندك انت، مش جملة جملتين، كلمة صغيرة باش تربط بها تحس هكا فما معناتها smooth transition, okay? Donc on this occasion, on that day, on this event, millions of people switched off lights. Okay, why? To show their commitment. I also add the sentence, okay, to show their commitment to the cause. Its purpose, what is the purpose of this event of the Earth Hour? Is, as I said before, as I mentioned before, you have possible answers here. For example, I can use not only but also. So my sentence will become as follow. Its purpose is not only to reduce the impact of climate change, but also to show care about the environment. I can also use its purpose is to reduce the impact of climate change and, or as well as, to show care about the environment, okay? So try to alternate to use as many structures as you know in your exam. Try to use the colors as well. Avoid the red, but try to use pink, blue, green, any other color to show that your work is well organized, well done, okay, and it reflects your own organized personality, okay? And I finish with the last part. I will not give you here, I will not provide a correction, okay, because similarly for the application letter, you can have it in the free writing. So inshallah, we will add another session if you would like to. The day of the exam, I think on Wednesday, inshallah, bac blanc for the English lesson, English exam. So if you are willing to attend, with pleasure, we will provide another session for you in which we will come across the types of free writing, and we will do some reading comprehension together and some language tasks, okay? So in the chat box below, leave your messages if you are interested in a third session in this unit 3 to prepare for your back exam. I will do it with pleasure, okay? So The formal letter here, I chose the example of application letter. What is an application letter? It's a letter that you write when you would like to apply to get a job, to apply for a job. Of course, there are certain characteristics of the application letter, in addition to being very formal, okay? So here, for example, you need the address of the sender, the address of the receiver, the date, and many more. Here, I will just focus, as I said, I will focus, inshallah, in the free writing on the formal layout. But today, I would like to focus on the pieces of information. So, of course, the first information is the advertisement. How did you know about that vacant job? How did you hear about that vacant job? Here, for example, I read an advertisement in the newspaper. The name of the newspaper is Daily Week. What is the position? I am applying for which position, for which vacant job? For the position of economics, the position of an accountant, the position of a teacher, right? Now, what are the qualifications and diplomas needed, required for that job? Okay, so candidates, applicants, people who will apply for this job are called candidates or applicants, right? So applicants should have master's degree in economics, should be fluent, okay, in languages, should be good at maths, and should be, for example, sociable, cheerful, okay? And last but not least, here, I should provide my personal contact information. How can I be reached after sending my application letter, of course? For example, let's say the phone number 12345678, okay? My email, as Mr. Smith, for example, here, this is his email, smith@gmail.com, okay? I come back now to some of the lessons we missed in the first presentation, okay? If you remember, we didn't deal with the lesson of city life, okay? Urban exodus, if you want. So let's sort out some vocabulary here. So urban, it's an adjective. It is a synonym for city, okay? Town, densely populated area. The antonym is rural. It means the countryside, some rural areas, remote, very far away. So what are the characteristics of urban life, or urban, if you want, cities? Usually, okay, it is more comfortable. You have a lot of amenities. You can find the hospital, the bank, the school, okay? So it is a luxurious life. However, life in the countryside could, if you want, appear rougher, more difficult, but healthier. You have a clean air, okay? There is no pollution, fresh fruits and vegetables, healthy lifestyles. So when I talk about life expectancy, أمل الحياة عند الولادة, of course it will be longer for people who live in the countryside at the expense of people who live in the city, right? So, as I mentioned, the antonym is rural. This is also an adjective. It means the countryside, suburbs, agrarian. So, what are the activities? How do people live normally in the rural areas? Yes, of course, through the agricultural activities. Crops of fruits, potatoes, vegetables, whatever. Okay? You can also have craftsmanship, الحرف. Donc قايمة على الزوز الفلاحة والحرف. Agriculture and craftsmanship, right? However, if I come back to the urban cities or the urban areas, how do people basically live? Okay, through industry. You have industry, you have companies, you have factories, okay? So usually when I compare rural life to urban life, okay, so there are advantages and disadvantages for each one of them. Okay, when I say exodus, this is a noun. What does it mean? Yes, it means migration, movement, escape. So, normally, okay, we talk about exodus. It means the movement of people from one place to another. Specifically, when I talk about urban exodus, okay, I talk about the movement or when a large number of the population leave big cities to move to the suburbs or rural areas. Pay attention. Usually, in all the countries, all the world, we talk about rural exodus. Okay? It means people who live in the countryside move, emigrate to the big cities in search for jobs, for a luxurious life, better, more comfortable life, okay? To pursue their education, there are universities, faculties, and there are a lot of amenities, hospitals, schools, wherever. But as we saw through the lesson, if you remember, in Great Britain, it is the only country which makes an exception. People in Great Britain today are fleeing, escaping big cities, leaving behind their luxurious life, okay, in search for a healthy lifestyle, to get rid يتخلصوا of the noise. So it is typical for London and, if you want, British cities. So as I said, they flee, they escape, they move from the city. First of all, to be, if you want, in the bosom of nature. You have fresh air, healthier lifestyle, less noise. Even when I talk about the community, the people, neighborhood are very friendly to each other. However, life in the city is very frightening. Isolation, great rate of crime, terrorism, violence. Even when I talk about attitudes, there is a decline in moral attitudes. So, of course, I talk about many advantages of life in the city. For example, you have employment. Of course, you can find an employment easier in the city, okay? Life is better, okay? You have better healthcare services when I talk about hospitals, clinics, okay? Entertainment. You can visit the opera, the theater, the movies, okay? Amusement parks. Education. You can pursue your education. You have higher institutions of education, right? And you have the amenities. It means necessary things that people need. For example, shopping centers, police station, the office, bus station, hospitals, banks, schools, and many more. But life, of course, has its own disadvantages. Life is very stressful. It is also unsafe. There is a lot of pollution. Lifestyle is very expensive, especially when I talk about a second housing. Okay, either تكري معناته you rent, R-E-N-T, you rent a house which will be very exorbitant, very expensive. Or if you are thinking about buying a house, it will be a far-fetched dream. It's very expensive. Busy, you will face the hustle and bustle all the time. The crime, a high rate of crime today. Take a look at the news and you will understand. Loneliness, people are living alone, isolated in different apartments. A great rate of joblessness and unemployment. And of course, I talk about overcrowded, overpopulation if you want. Now let's focus on the life in rural area, rural places. Of course, similarly, it has many advantages, many benefits, many bonuses, many perks, okay? Neighborhood. Neighbors are very friendly, they are cheerful, they visit each other, they eat with each other, they spend their celebrations together, okay? It's clean, okay? There is no pollution. Fresh air, of course. Quiet life, okay? Solidarity, people help each other when when they get in trouble, when they have problems, and it is more lively, vibrant, energetic. However, rural life is not a real paradise. There are many problems that people could face. So I talk here about the disadvantages. The absence of services, the lack, نقص، ديما نكتبوا كلمة lack L A، اوكي مش lack الأو هذيك good lack حاجة أخرى. The lack of opportunities, the shortage of connectivity, okay. Sometimes some people think it's boring. There are no hotels, no movies, no gyms. Less jobs, the problem of unemployment, of course. There is no entertainment, and life could be more challenging. So here in this table, I sorted out different advantages and disadvantages of urban life. As I mentioned before, I will start with the services. So proximity to major and varied services. If you are living in the city, okay, in big cities, you can enjoy all the services. Employment, majority of higher paying jobs, so better job opportunities also. Careers are found there. I talk about culture if you want, so you have art, fashions, politics, and higher culture. Multicultural, okay, and which I personally see as a plus. You have different people from different cultural backgrounds. كعملية التثاقف تلاقح الحضارات. Ça existe seulement dans معناتها في big cities, okay. And last but not least, you have transportation, mass transit, buses, taxis, etc. I move now to the disadvantages. Of course, I talk about the crime, the high rate of crime, shooting, stabbing, okay, kidnapping, ransom pay. You kidnap someone and you ask for a lot of money, okay, to set him free. Second, I talk about pollution. You have more people, they will emit more waste, they will produce more noise, they will need more green areas. We will cut the trees to build houses, to build a mall, and so on. So less trees and nature. The problem of deforestation today is because of the urbanization. المد العمراني على حساب الأماكن الخضراء. This is a big problem when I talk about the environment today. Impersonal and sometimes isolating lifestyle. People are alone, they don't say hey or hi to each other, they live in locked apartments, they are scared, okay? And the last point, we have a clear distinction between social classes. Take a look at the beggars who are begging for money in the street. So you can see that the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. This is very, very clear in cities. However, when you go to the countryside, you can barely notice that there is someone who is really poor, right? Okay. Likewise, I move to the rural life. I will sort out the advantages and disadvantages. I will start with the advantages. So here we have more natural environments, okay? Better social and support network. People are friendly. Your children will grow in a very, if you want, healthy social environment. They play with their mates. However, in the big city, they play their times surfing the net, okay, facing addiction and many other health issues, if you want. It's less stressful. You feel quieter. You have peace of mind. You get your zen. Okay, it's somehow more comfortable, all right? It's perceived as safer, okay, less crime rate, less violence, and we have class differences are not as distinctive as it's obvious in the city. Similarly, I move to the disadvantages, what are the drawbacks, the blemishes, the harms, the dangers. First, limited transportation available, especially when you are living in a remote area. No buses, no cars, nothing at all. So this could cause some incidents, especially in emergency case. You have an accident, a fire, someone who is sick, okay, how could you get him to the hospital if there are, for example, no means of transport? So it could be very risky. Second, social network can lead to tension in the case of small town gossip. If you have, for example, neighbors living to each other, very close to each other. I talk about, for example, nosy neighbors, الجيران اللي يولي حشري بشوي بشوي يشري مشاكل قيل وقال انسي دو سويت. دونك هذيا نشوفوها الظاهرة هذه في الأحياء الريفية أكثر منها في المدن، خاطر فما كل لحمة واللحمة ذيك باش تسبب حاجات خايبة كالكفور. Okay. Limited employment opportunities, the problem of joblessness and employment. Slower social political progress, okay, because it's far away from all amenities. And of course, less immediately available social services. No network, nothing. So here, let's sort out some synonyms, okay. If I say to outlive, it means to live longer. When I talk about life expectancy. What is life expectancy? It's the number of years a person is likely to live. So usually I say life expectancy in the country is higher than, for example, or better than, or longer than life expectancy in the city. People in the country outlive, they live longer. Outlive, okay, people in the city. The exodus, I explained that as migration, movement of people, okay. A decade, it means a period of 10 years, okay. العقد هو كل 10 سنين. Millennium هي كل 1000 سنة, 1000 years. Century, 100 years. القرن هو كل 100 سنة. Donc عندنا decade, century, millennium, right? And the last word is search. To, this is a verb. To search, it means to move quickly and with force to a particular direction. So here I have a list of sentences, okay? We try to tick the right option. So, to slow down, it means to reduce speed or activity. To move rapidly, it means to remain stable. Okay, to stop rising, for example, rising fear of, it means being worried and scared of, okay? Dramatic deterioration, it means disastrous, catastrophic, very bad. Deterioration, it means decline or damage. I move to the grammar point. So here you have 3 linkers. I can use them to express contrast. Okay, contrast, it means to talk about something positive and something negative. For example, let's focus on the first box on your left, although. Usually although is used with a subject and a verb. It means a clause. For example, I say, they are generous, although they are poor. I read the second one. Although I moistened it, the flap doesn't stick to the envelope. I read the third one. Although she is young, she is very independent. Sentence number 4. Although my car is very old, it still runs very well. So you see here, you have a contrast. My car is very old. This is something negative, but it's okay. It runs very well. I can drive it wherever I want. So here it's something positive. I have contrast between two things, okay? The last one is not really clear, but I think although he was ill, he went to school, something like that. So also here you have a contrast, right? I move to the second box in the middle. In spite of, be careful when you use in spite of, we use it with a noun or pronoun, okay? If you want to use it with a verb, be careful, you should use it with ing form. Take a look at the sentences here, the examples to clarify. Let's say she is cheerful. It means she is happy. She is cheerful in spite of her illness. Or her, there is a mistake, her illness here. So normally, if someone is ill, he will be very sad, very miserable, okay, very sorrowful. But she is ill, but she is still happy, okay? So there is a contrast here. After of, I use a noun. Illness is a noun. For his, it is a personal adjective, a possessive adjective, sorry. Possessive adjective, my book, your book, his, her, okay? These are called possessive adjective. We find them before a noun, right? Next sentence. In spite of their quarrel, of their fight, of their problem, they remain the best of friends. Similarly, in spite of is used with a noun, okay? Sentence number 3. In spite of my efforts, the boy remained passive. Similarly, after of, you should use a noun, okay? We went out in spite of the rain. Take a look at the last sentence. Here I change it. After of, I will use the verb plus ing. For example, let's say, in spite of being elected to the office, she remains first and let's say wins, okay? So in spite of here was used with the verb to be, okay, plus ing form. Let's say in spite of being ill, she is cheerful. You see, in spite of being ill. The previous sentence, I used just the noun of illness. Here, of being ill, I used the verb plus ing form. I proceed to the third column. I focus on despite. Be careful, despite usually is used with a noun or pronoun. Let's say, despite the bad weather, we enjoyed ourselves. Despite her hard work, she didn't succeed, for example. Sometimes it could be used with the verb plus ing, okay? I will continue reading the following example. So, sentence number 2. I still enjoyed the week despite the weather. So here despite is used with the noun, okay? Despite the criticisms, she remained defiant. Take a look here. After despite, what shall I have? I shall have a noun, criticisms, okay? She looked lovely despite her strange apparel. So despite, after despite here also, I put a noun, okay? And the last sentence, take a look here. After despite, what did I use? Yes, to be plus ing form. He is an ordinary bloke despite being famous. Is there any questions about the difference between although, despite, and spite of, or shall I proceed? Is it okay? Yes?
يشبه مدام رجال l'opposition والconcession في الفرنسي.
اي تري بيان، بالضبط نفس الخدمة هذيك هي. اما جست شنو اللي يجي من بعد الكلمة، فهمت؟
فوالا.
يعطيك الصحة، رجعتني 20 عام تالي. بارك الله فيك.
يعيشك سيدي. فيها وفما تمرين كان يحبوا يخدموه ترى عندنا although وعندنا despite باش نشوفوا روحنا فهمنا ولا نعاود نحوصلوا although ديما باش نلقوا معاها subordonné. اش معناتها subordonné؟ معناتها فعل وفاعل ومفعول به، جمله متكامله الاطراف. بالنسبه ل despite ديما باش نلقى بعدها un non. واضح ولا؟ هاي شكون يحب يعطينا تراه وبيان تكتبونا في الشات بوكس. يس
ليش ناخذ محاولة الأولى مدام؟
تفضلي يا ابتسام، علي صوتك وضحكي.
لكن نجم ناخذ المحاولة الأولى.
هاي تفضل.
We had a great time despite the rain.
هاي very good. صحيت. أنا عندي the rain اللي هي noun. Okay. Yes. So I shall use despite. Great. Yes. B. Second sentence. A volunteer.
We had a great time despite it rained, although it rained.
Very good. Yes, well done. Although, because I have a sentence. It is the subject, rained is a verb. Great. Okay, third sentence.
Although he studied very hard, he still didn't pass the exam.
Okay, if you say despite, I shall have a noun after despite. لكن احنا شو عندي بعد despite؟ عندي he, subject, studied verb. Donc, it is although. Yes, although. Good.
Despite the pain in his leg, he completed the marathon.
The marathon, very good, well done. Yes, so here you have the pain. It's a noun, okay? I shall use despite. Good.
Although he worked very hard, he didn't manage to pass the exam.
Excellent, yes. Although, so here I have a clause, okay? Subject, verb, okay? So I shall use although. Great. And the last one.
The holiday was great despite the hotel wasn't very nice.
زيد ركز شوية ترى. ريتو احنا despite يلزم كلمة واحدة مادام معناتها باش نقول un non ما باش يكون كلمة ما أكثرش، لكن هنا أخزر. Hotel wasn't very nice. Many words. Hotel subject, wasn't verb, وعندي very nice adjective و adverb. Donc مادام جملة طويلة عريضة مشكش كاش باش نزيدها. Yes, bien sûr باش نحطو although. Yes, good.
يا أخي مش كتلقاها الفيرب دي نحطو although.
كيفاش؟
الفيرب كي تلقاه لافان دي مش نحطو although.
لا مش بالضرورة ولدي أخزر لي. الاو دي هذاك كيف يبدا ريجولا يخضع للقاعده باش يولي في الباسي كيما مثلا listen listened هكا ولا pass passed. لكن شنو الفيرب نتاعي هنا؟ ها هو الباست. to be هذا is في النيجاتيف isn't، تولي was في النيجاتيف wasn't. ها هو في الباست. faites attention. d'accordo?
Ok, merci.
De rien. Bien. Thank you for this session. Before finishing, I would like to show you my Padlet. I prepared the Padlet for you. Hopefully that you will answer that. Okay. الخدمة اللي كنا نخدموا فيها اليوم هنخليه لكم، تخلي لكم مدام هيام ومدام سارة ليليا إن شاء الله. Donc guided writing 4th graders different types. هذوما اللي خدمناهم اليوم. Vous avez le choix. باش يبقى لكم إن شاء الله التسجيل. تحبوا حتى نخلي لكم دي ورك شيت من بعدين. تختاروا معناتها بايوغرافي اورجانيزيشن اللي تحسها انت صعيبه ولا حبيت تخدم عليها وتعمل لي الاصلاح نتاعك هنا وانا نصلح لك هنا نكتب لك لي كومونتير. مثلا وقت اللي ندخلوا احنا على البادليت سي تري سامبل، جو كليك هنا لو سيني بلس ونبدا نكتب من غير ما تكتبوا لي اساميكم سي نورمال. مثلا باش نحكي هنا على definition، مثلا نعمل let's say the world health hour is ونكمل نعطي شنو نحب. حبيت نحط لو تيتر هنا ونرجع نكتب هنا جو تاب نكتب نحط باش نعمل ومن بعدين نكليكي لبرا من البادليت تبقى الخدمه اونجستري. يجي البروف من بعد ويصلح لي جينا ويصلح لي كومونتير عندك غلطه في كذا غلطه في كذا. دونك هذه سي اون فاسون افيكاس باش نصلحوا خدمه بعضنا ونشوفوا شنو تنجموا تخدموا. شكون اللي ما فهمش كيفاش يخدم على البادليت نعاود له. دونك فو كليكي على السيني بلس هذاك وتكتب الفقره اللي حاجتك بها. اوكي اذا حاجت فما حاجه غلطه حبيت تفسخ عندك هذيك الجاربج ايكون يو كليك اند يو ديليت. اوكي دونك هذه سيل فو بلي تو نخلي لكم توا كلكو معناتها ورك شيت تختاروا منهم تخدموا وخلوا لي هنا الخدمه نتاعكم ان شاء الله نصلحوها. هكا هو مدام ساره بالنسبه لحصه اليوم. يعطيهم الصحه الناس كل على الحضور.